Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access pregame show. Green Bay Packers versus the Denver Broncos. Joined alongside Tim live in Green Bay. We got Jacob in Wisconsin. Just going to kind of break down some of the pregame festivities here. Going live a little early. Hey, listen, anytime we get the guys in here earlier than we plan, we got to take advantage of it. I know we got Tim fresh off the road. He's been on assignment in Milwaukee. I love saying that, Tim, by the way. But how you doing, big dog?
Man, happy to be home. Ready for some football. Sunday night. It might be the preseason, but it's still exciting. Ready to go. How you boys doing?
Doing great. And I've been putting up with Jacob this entire time you've been gone. Let me tell you, it's a job, man. It is a job. Jacob, what'd you do today, man?
I don't know what you're talking about, Clayton. I always keep it professional. Everybody knows that. I mean, for instance, today I'm wearing a polo, right on brand.
That is a dress.
I dress, for success. So
sure dress for the job you want, right?
Today, I
sure about that.
Did a bunch of homemade chicken wild rice soup, which was really good, and I watched the movie Three Ninjas for the first time in 5 years. And I tell you what, it holds.
Does it still hold up?
Oh, it holds up. It's an amazing movie.
Second only to Beverly Hills Ninja, Chris Farley.
That's true.
There you go. Guys, people in the chat are saying, what the hell does this have to do with the Packers? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Let's see if we can get this shared up here on the screen. So Green Bay Packers tweeted this out a few minutes ago. Just some shots of the guys walking into the stadium. Got our boy Carrington Valentine. Look at Kenny Clark. Look at the pants on Kenny Clark, boys. We got a bald eagle with an American flag. Nice. Let's go, Kenny. With the red Yankees cap. Gotta love that. Don't you meow that. Don't you meow that.
No, I'm just looking at the, one could argue he's got like 3 purses, He's got, at least that looks like a man bag.
What the hell's wrong with you, Jake?
I'm just saying, I gotta call it out when I see it.
I'll tell you, I'm gonna write our bosses and see if we can get you suspended from this stream.
If you wear though, like the American, like you said, the American Eagle or the American bald eagle with the American flag pants, I don't know what you call those. If those are pants or sweatpants, then that cancels out the purse.
I'm gonna just say it like this: if you making what Kenny Clark's making, you can wear whatever you want. Hell, you want to wear.
That's true.
That's a fact, Tim. Very well said. Up next, we got our boy Romeo. I love the look at the difference.
Yeah.
You got Kenny with the shades, the red Yankee cap, the bald eagle American flag pants. Looks like Louis Vuitton bag he's carrying there. What Jacob refers to as purse. I don't know. Anyway, and then
he said man bag. That's appropriate.
This is what a late round draft pick wears right here. Nike hoodie and some shades. That's it. ain't got time for a pick either. We're just rolling. Let's get in here and handle business. And then who is this right here?
George Pickens? I don't know who that is.
I was trying to figure out, is that DeBose possibly?
I think I was gonna say either be DeBose or
it's hard to tell with the ski mask on. Right? What do they call those? Gators? Is that what they call them?
I don't know, but he's 100% on brand though. He's all Nike everything for sure.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
definitely. So everybody filing into the stadium right now. I'm going to ask you guys right off the top here. What are you excited about tonight, man? What is it you're looking for in this game? What do you hope to not what do you hope to see, but what are you going to be watching for, I should say?
Emmanuel Wilson with 35 carries, hopefully. That's what I'm looking for in this ball game. And a chance to see Sean Clifford and Michael Pratt go to work. We know J Love's not going to play, so let's see what this backup quarterback position battle looks like here in real time. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Mm-hmm. Mine would be probably. It sounds like a lot of starters aren't going to play on both sides of the ball, so I'm not exactly sure what Denver is planning on doing. I'd have to think they're probably going to start a few more of their starters, considering if Bo Nix is going to be out there, I'd assume they probably want their guys protecting him and that kind of thing. So we'll see if that happens. I want to, just like Ron said, I want to watch the O-line. I want to see if our twos if they do have to go against their ones, how they can weather the storm right away. If they can match that level of intensity. It sounded like that the Broncos pretty much outpractice us. I want to see if that was a product of us being kind of an away team. Not kind of, we were. It's the first time we've traveled. It's the first time they were in that high altitude. So I'm wondering if now that they've got their feet underneath them, had a couple days to kind of get the jet lag or whatever you want to call it out of the way. I'd like to see how they respond specifically after that kind of what sounds like kind of a rough practice.
Yeah, definitely. And, that's the thing, too. There was a lot of trash being talked. Everybody's running victory laps. Get those 2s and 3s out there and let's handle some business tonight. You know what I mean? We'll say, okay, you won the practice. Let's because many times that's why they won't have back-to-back joint practices anymore, because typically the team who won the day before running that mouth, and then the second day, fight breaks out. So that may happen a little bit tonight. I'm not advocating for it. I'm just simply saying that's a common practice when it comes to these type of situations. Emmanuel Wilson, obviously his locker here, ready to go. That's who I've got my eye on tonight. Corey Ballantyne probably going to get some playing time, I would imagine, this evening. And, of course, there's Telford and Jennings' locker side-by-side. Packers tweeted that out. So, for me, I'm really excited to watch the quarterbacks. I want to see what Pratt and Clifford do. The only thing that I hope happens is they get even amount of snaps. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it to be something where Clifford gets, 3/4 of the snaps and, obviously Pratt gets the rest, or vice versa. I want it to be kind of a split. Let's get a good look at both of them and see who's most qualified to be the backup quarterback here that's on the roster for sure.
How would you feel if they alternated series? Because that to me was the most fair and balanced way to judge both of these guys to see. Because honestly, if you think about it, like you said, if we have Clifford in for the first half and then you throw Pratt in there with like the 3s and 4s and scrubs, you don't quite get to see how he would be performing versus that better level of talent. So is there any scenario where you see them at least maybe doing first quarter Clifford, second quarter Pratt, third quarter, Clifford, fourth quarter Pratt, or anything along those lines?
I think it would be cool to be able to mix in a 2-minute drill for each. So maybe you could go like first, like you said, first quarter Clifford, second, or just give them a half would be the easiest way to do it. But you could go first quarter Clifford, second quarter Pratt, give him the 2-minute drill in the second quarter, and then third quarter Pratt, fourth quarter Clifford. But that is a little bit of a disadvantage to Clifford. Hopefully they just split it up by half. That's what I would like to see happen and give them a legit shot and have the coaches both be in agreement that, look, we're not looking to run the score up, but we want to take advantage of these situations at the end of the game where it might be a 2-minute drill that we can get some game time out there, if that makes sense. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to see here tonight. Let's go to the chat real quick, see what everybody said. Ron Samble saying watching the O-line. I know you mentioned that earlier there, Jacob. When it comes to watching the O-line, the starters obviously are not going to play. So you're looking to get probably, I imagine Sean Ryan will be playing. I'm eager to see what Jacob Monk does in his second game because he did really good. He was really good pass blocking, not so much run blocking. Is that what it was in the first preseason game? It might have been vice versa, but I know he did something really, really well and the other not so well. And then also Andre Dillard. Andre Dillard played pretty well outside of the penalty. So I think there's a legit chance that he goes out there and kind of tries to win that backup tackle spot. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so I'm with you there, Ron. I think the offensive line, I think that's going to be very, very intriguing as well. Let's see who else in the chat here. Jake Shavink said it's really just the Evan Williams show tonight. Amen. Amen to that. That would be absolutely awesome to get a lot of snaps from Evan Williams for sure. That would be great. Dick in the chat says Cox continue to pressure, but keep the edge. I'm a fan of his. I know Jacob is too. Brenton Cox Jr., going to be interesting to see what he does. Again, if he could just play a little more under control, I think the dude's got a legit shot to be a contributor on the team. Kingsley and Igbare, after really combing through the pressure percentages from last year and using next-gen stats and a couple other key metrics, I'm really excited to see what Igbare can do too. I think he'll get some playing time tonight. LVN's another one. There's just players everywhere.
Well, I was just going to say, realistically, I think Cox has the possibility of seeing a lot of action just because I don't know how long you want to keep LVN out there, how long you want to keep Igbare. So I think realistically you could see him playing a good 3 quarters because honestly, there's not many. You see maybe Keyshawn Banks and who's a few of the other ones there, really fringe guys that would be lucky to even make the practice squad. So I think we'll see a large portion of Brenton Cox Jr. Cleaned it up a little for you there.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Coach Lynn said, I'm excited to see Morgan at right guard. Is Jordan Morgan playing tonight, Coach?
I don't know. Same question Ron had for him. Is Morgan playing, Coach?
That's my burner. Yeah, we'll definitely need to keep an eye on that as we get closer to kickoff, because if Jordan Morgan's playing that, he might skyrocket to the top of the list.
Hey, Coach, is Jordan Morgan playing tonight?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I love LaFleur's response as usually, we'll see. He always says that to the media. We'll see. Omer says, let's see if these Jennings can make any impact. Looking for Ryan and Monk too. So obviously them battling there at the right guard spot. I'd say Monk. I want to see Monk a little bit more at center too. I'd like to see that tonight.
I feel like we've seen a lot of Sean Ryan at center this preseason. It's time for a change, as long as we're looking at alternative options, right?
Yep.
Makes sense.
Definitely. Omer says Glover show up tonight. Be nice too. Travis Glover. Is that Emilio's guy? It is, isn't it? Travis Glover.
Yep. He loves him.
I get them mixed up.
That was Danny Glover. That was Emilio's guy.
Yes. Also Danny Glover.
Big Lethal Weapon fan. Yes.
Exactly. All right. Ron Sample says Monk is interesting, so he's excited to see Monk. John in the chat said A.J. Dillon has to have a big game.
Yes.
Man, going into the preseason, John, if you had said that, I would have rolled my eyes. Like, it's preseason. I'm with you now. Like, he's got to do something, right, Jacob? I mean, I see you down there grinning. I'm sure you're grinning about something in the chat, but yeah. AJ's got to at some point pop off something, right?
Well, the thing is I was just in my head thinking A.J. Dillon either needs to have a really great showing, or he needs the other Packers running backs to not explode like Wilson has, like even Howard at certain points has, because if he keeps underperforming, being underwhelming, and we have these guys that are younger, maybe faster, cheaper, which is hard to even say with how cheap of a contract Dillon's under, but you just can't keep underperforming while guys are showing flashes of really having great qualities, especially with guys like Wilson. I'm excited tonight. I think we'll see more Nate McCreary. I think we'll see a lot of, because I don't know if Howard's going to play. It sounds like he was banged up this last week.
What about what's up with Merriweather?
Same with Ellis. Yeah, I want to see him as well. And yeah, dude. Also, I forgot we talked about it this morning. Tim, did you know that is his name Drew Wayne or Jamal?
Reggie Wayne's cousin, right?
Cousin, yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, that all of a sudden just skyrocketed him to somebody I want to watch and see if he starts flashing.
It makes me so happy to be a Packer fan when you hear stuff like that. Like, we have a stacked, loaded, deep wide receiver room. It's like, oh yeah, let's get this guy involved. I mean, why not? Let's continue the legacy of greatness, right? As we continue to like entertain, up and coming talent, guys that are trying to get a second run here in the NFL, right? He had a brief run in the CFL, was injured, I believe, and now he's got another shot at it here with the green and gold. This is awesome, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's see here. It was actually 97.3. The game just tweeted out a picture, and it is absolutely gorgeous there in Denver. I mean, you can see it. Perfect weather, perfect football weather there. Just a sun, as Wayne Larrabee would say, a sun-splashed afternoon in Denver. So the majority, if not all, of this game should be played in daylight too, right? Because they're 2 hours behind right now. It's just 5 o'clock over there, so it'll kick off about 6. So might get a little bit under the lights, but for the most part, it's going to be kind of a daytime atmosphere, if you will. So 97.3. I love the Matt Schneiden show that's on there. I don't know if you guys follow it or not. Really good watch. I typically watch it before we go live, just kind of get some of the last up-to-date stuff. So you guys go give them a follow, obviously. They're over at 97.3 the game. Tim, you've got something shared down there. You want to go ahead and pop that up on the screen, man?
Live from my mother-in-law at the game.
Oh, for real? Let's
recently.
Go.
Yeah, she's at Mile High, repping the green and gold. So, hi, Miss Sherry. Thank you for cheering on the Packers in enemy territory. She's out at the game today, guys. She's got those bird's eye view type seats, So
I love it, dude. Love it.
Mom out at the game for sure.
I bet it's gorgeous out there. I got to get out west, man. The farthest I've been west is, I believe, I'm not sure if Green Bay is further west than St. Louis or not, but I've been out to St. Louis. But I'm more of an East Coast kind of guy. A lot of history on the East Coast I want to see. You guys been out toward Denver, out toward Colorado at all?
I've been to Colorado a couple times, not up near Denver though.
I've been to Iowa.
Iowa.
Yeah.
Jacob Beard, Iowa.
My sisters used to make fun of me all the time because I would say Iowa. And you laughed. See, I still don't understand why it's so funny, but they think it's hilarious.
It kind of sounds like a town in Wisconsin when you say it like that. We have an Iola in Wisconsin.
They always say, I owe you some money. Shut off my back. All right, so anyway, let's go back to the chat here. Coach Lynn says, want to see the DBs show up. Yeah, what DBs will be playing? Jair will not be playing, I would imagine. You think Stokes will play? If he doesn't play, I pretty much says he's got that number 2 corner locked up, right?
Yeah. Or even if he plays limited reps, right? You know, maybe a series or 2 or something. Because they may be just looking to sprinkle him in a little bit just for consistency with all the time he's missed these past 2 years, you know. Mm-hmm. But I would think a dose of Val and Bal today. I would think some Kalen King today, hopefully.
Rochelle.
Robert Rochelle, yes. Yes. Not safe on the practice squad, Rochelle. That's his nickname. Not safe on the practice squad.
I bet you we'll see a lot of Oladapo.
There we go.
This should be his if he really is as good as we all hoped, I would think that he would take a pretty big jump from preseason game 1 to 2. And we did see him out there last week. It was very sparingly. I think he had definitely some special team snaps, but I didn't see him Is he 27, if I'm not mistaken?
KT Oladapo?
Home Depot. Is he 27?
27 years old?
No, number 27.
Whew. Yeah. Me and Tim were on the same page. I was like,
Tim's like, no, dude.
No, what did we do?
We know you're a fan of the older crowd there, Jacob, but you had me worried. Say that, but we'll leave it at that. You guys.
If anything, I'm not robbing the cradle. I'm robbing the grave.
Speaking of that, Jake Shavink says Cox getting a lot of action would be good.
Hey.
Perfect drop. What's funny is Jake probably didn't mean it and he's like, I'm out of here. He just left. Yep, we just dropped the viewer. There you went. So let's see. DJ Colvin says yes, 27 is his number. So there you go. Coach Lynn asked, is Tyler Davis playing? I haven't heard yet. Have you guys heard? He did not play in the last game, right?
No, I don't believe so.
We'll keep an eye. Like I said, I'm looking for
maybe he did. Did he have special teams snaps last game?
I didn't see him on the list, but I could have overlooked it too. So, we'll definitely keep an eye on that. Like I said, as we're just going through hitting the chat, you guys just keep it going. I'm combing through Twitter just to see if we get any kind of updates as far as actives, inactives, that type of thing. But we'll just continue hitting those marked chats here. Coach Lynn says, want to see Hopper show out. Yeah, Hopper played in that last game, I believe. So I'd like to see him get out there and grind a little bit, and to me, it kind of feels like he's probably going to be an outside linebacker as opposed to like a mock is the way I'm feeling about it. So will he play Sam? Will he play Will? Of course, the majority of the snaps he'll get will probably be in the nickel when he is in the game. So keep an eye on whether or not he lines up on the tight end side, that linebacker on the inside linebacker in the nickel 4-2-5, if he lines up over the tight end or if he lines up in the Will spot, because that would suggest he's going to be more of a mock than a Will or a Sam if he is kind of playing the tight end. But it's my understanding they kind of see him almost like a more of a hybrid rusher is kind of one of his strengths. He's kind of a pass rusher, if you will, from the stack backer position. So we'll see how that goes there. And obviously being aggressive against the run too. But yeah, Hopper will be a fun one to watch tonight. Ron Sample says Aaron Mosby has been number 5 edge as far as I'm concerned. Wow. Of course, what I think doesn't mean much. So he has Aaron Mosby as the number 5 defensive end on the team. And if we look at it here, Preston Smith, TJ Slayton, Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary, Kingsley Nibari, Lucas Van Ness. So he's actually got Aaron Mosby over Brenton Cox Jr. Okay. All right. So, we'll see what Mosby can do this evening as well. So, good stuff there. Let's see what else we got here in the chat. Coach Lynn says another big game from Grant DuBose. That would be awesome. I do. I mean, he showed up last week. And it kind of feels like when Tay Wicks burst onto the scene, it was, oh, man, he looked pretty good there. And the next thing you know, the next game, no drop-off. That's what I'm hoping to see from Grant DuBose tonight. What do you guys think? I think he'll get some significant snaps, because that's the other thing we haven't talked about is the wide receiver room battle. We're talking about Grant DuBose, Malik Heath, and Bo Melton, right? Those are the three names in the receiver room we're really going to keep an eye on this season. So that'll be interesting. I think I asked you this earlier, Jacob. I'm going to ask Tim real quick. Of those three, Tim, as you're sitting here right now, who do you like? Who would you pick if you had to pick one of those three receivers? Putting you on the spot here. Bo Melton, Grant DuBose, or Malik Heath? Who would you put at the top there, man? Bo Melton, Grant DuBose, or Malik
at the top right now as we sit going into this game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Grant, MF, and DuBose.
Woo-hoo. All right, there you go. Tim been talking about before we played that preseason game. He's been trumpeting the whole time.
So we'll see. Bo needs to turn it on. If I got a feeling last preseason game was just Bo shaking off the rust. So Bo Melton has himself a game. We might be having a different conversation here if you ask me that same question. But as we stand right now, and you guys know I'm a huge Malik Heath fan. I'm a huge Bo Melton fan as well. But Grant DuBose is balling out, man. It's a man on a mission right now to make this football team. And I fully expect him to have another game today for sure.
Yeah. CJN says Bo Melton better play with his hair on fire tonight because DuBose is winning it right now. I love what Prince said here. Prince said you just guaranteed a heavy dose of Torre. So, go ahead, Jacob. What were you going to say, bud?
Yeah, I actually have an article from Bill Huber that he released 6 hours ago, and it's titled, or the captions titled, "Wide receiver Bo Melton has had only one bad day all summer, ... Unfortunately for him, it was the preseason opener at Cleveland. Melton will be looking to rebound tonight in Denver," and then the article is posted below that. And I do think that is, if you're going to have a bad moment, it's not always great to have that one bad moment while the cameras are going and everybody's watching everything with a microscope, and it sways everything. I mean, if we would have sat here and we've done it multiple times, if we did our starting five, Bo Melton was definitely in that list. If you did the top six, he was definitely in that list. And now we're talking about guys that possibly he could get snubbed. I don't see him getting snubbed. I think that we're going to carry six for sure. And I think one of them will be Bo. So right now you got to talk yourself, or I would have to tell myself, is it between Heath and DuBose? And as much as I love Heath, and I really do, like I really, really do, if you had to put the old Elon squirt gun, which is now a real gun emoji, to my head, I would say I'm going to pick DuBose right now. It's just, I can't deny what I see with my eyes. I
agree, Jacob. I think Bo's on this team. Jake Shavink had a good comment that nobody catches Bo at the top. That's so true. Like Bo's on this team. He could dump another game, honestly, in the preseason. I don't think it's going to affect his chances of making this football team. But that last spot is definitely between Malik Heath and Grant DuBose right now.
Got it. Good stuff. Let's see here. What else we got in the chat? Brandon says, who do you think will be starting on the O-line tonight? That's a great question.
Good question.
I don't think they'll start Rashid. If they're truly not playing starters, right? Who would be your top left tackle other than Rasheed Walker? Probably Andre Dillard.
Probably going to be Dillard. Yeah.
Either Dillard or Caleb Jones, right? I can see Caleb.
Yeah.
All right. So at left guard, obviously you won't have Elton Jenkins playing. So it's probably going to be Sean Ryan, Jacob Monk, Royce Newman, possibly, right?
I feel like they'd put Royce at right guard, right?
I feel like we'd see Monk at left guard.
I was going to say Monk at left guard.
So who's starting center?
I think they'd go Sean Ryan, and then they'd throw Caleb Jones or Telford at right tackle.
All right. So we're thinking, I've already forgotten.
That's rough.
It is.
I don't like that.
If I'm Michael Pratt, I'm saying, Sean, man, you go out there and have the first.
Yeah, you have first.
No, put Pratt out there. Let's see that scramble game in full effect.
You walk those five out, there's going to be a whole lot of can tonight, I promise you.
This is an interesting one from Coach here. Dillard, Monk, Ryan, Morgan, Tenuta. Dillard starting at left tackle. That would be good. I actually saw one too from Omer that made sense as well. Dillard, Telford, Ryan, Monk. Well, I don't know how he's going to play twice, but
son of a gun can tell.
Just put Caleb Jones at right tackle.
I'd say either Jones or
All right.
Maybe he meant Tenuta for one of those.
On to the
I
more
forgot about
important,
Tenuta.
on to the more important question from Respect Oranges, not question, but comment. I actually am going to have nachos tonight for the game. LOL. Hey, there's nothing wrong with it, man. Nothing wrong with it. We got some barbecue downstairs. I'm going to tear into it. Mandy just baked banana nut bread with strawberries in it. It's like, all right, let's see what that's about. So we'll be hitting that at halftime. I might be asleep from posting. So, what do you guys? You guys eat? You eat anything during the game? Or y'all like me? I eat during the entirety of the game.
I usually snack during the game.
If it's a regular game, no. I am so nervous. I'd be puking.
You pace in front of the TV like I do?
Oh, dude, yeah, it's bad. It's not good.
Calling plays, yelling. Yeah. I do that too. I did have nachos though before the game, before we jumped on the pod tonight. Had tacos and nachos tonight. Shout out Mrs. Green. Thank you.
Shout out Emilio.
Real MVP. Shout out Emilio. Tacos were meant. Exactly. Let's see. Why don't we do this? Why don't we hit this quick? Well, first of all, if you guys and gals would hit that like button, we got almost 350 people in here. Hit that like button, help boost the algae for us. Let's get some other Packer fans in here. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us here for the pregame show. And again, we're keeping our eye to Twitter to see if anything comes down the pike as far as actives, inactives, all that good stuff. So try to get it.
Afam's wondering if all that are eating the nachos, were they the Lunchable form nachos? Ugh. Don't remember the Lunchable, the build your own pizza Lunchables? The disgusting soggy dough and the cheese is surprising.
Cold sauce.
Yeah. Disgusting.
I think my wife is screaming at the TV right now. Don't you talk about Lunchables.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with Lunchables, but I'm with Jacob. They tried to get too cute, man. With the
no,
pizza.
I hear you.
Yeah. We've got a catering business, so along with the wedding planning business, and Mandy does like these huge charcuterie boards. That'll cover an entire 6-foot table, right? And I got a good buddy, Willie, who's from Wattsburg, Kentucky, over in that area. Letcher County, Kentucky. Boy, let me tell you, it's rougher than 2 days in jail over there. And he always says, hey, why don't you tell Mandy we'd like to order one of them there fancy Lunchables. That's what he says.
I love it.
I was waiting on a guy from like Alabama, and I worked at a pretty nice place at the time, and he goes, why don't you get me one of them charcuterie boards for the table? And I'm like, yeah, sir.
You call me anything you want, but don't call me that.
Tim, I got to put this one up. I don't know if you guys hit it while I was coming through Twitter or not, but Mrs. Green in the house says Tim yells at the TV so loud during the game we had to put a TV in the garage. Is that true, Tim?
That's true. I just accomplished that a couple days ago. Yeah.
Like milestones, baby.
Got a bracket, put the old TV out there so I can scream in the garage. Yeah.
That is hilarious. I love it. Man. Absolutely love it. AFAM says brisket nachos is what I throw down here in KC, man. Brisket nachos are. Yeah. We had a barbecue joint down here in Jonesboro that was just phenomenal. It was called the Barrel House, and they would have what they called the barrel burger, and it was a hamburger patty, and then it was brisket on top of that, smothered in barbecue sauce. This thing was like, it was huge. It was unbelievable. Of course, unfortunately, their smoker blew up, caught the building on fire. So rest in peace to the Barrel House. If Chewy's in the chat, he knows what I'm talking about. It was a phenomenal place here locally. So
you think you can recreate the recipes, or
it was pretty straightforward. It was just a really good quality burger, real thick patty, like a half pounder probably, and just a bunch of brisket piled on top of it. You can literally, if you eat it in a quiet room, you can hear your arteries clogging up. It's just phenomenal. It's unbelievable. So
in other words, a damn good burger. I love it.
Absolutely. All right, let's do this. Let's go over here to Packers Twitter account where Wes Hodkowitz had actually retweeted this out. It's he and Mike Spofford with their final thoughts on playing the Denver Broncos. Let's go ahead and hit that, and then we'll continue to comb through Twitter for actives and inactives. Here we go.
Wes, it feels like we've been in Denver forever already, but Sunday night is almost here. Packers Broncos, time for final thoughts. Preseason game number 2, what's at stake?
Well, Michael, from everything we understand, by all accounts, the starters will not be playing in this game for the Packers, at least a majority of them. That means it's going to belong to the second and third team units. And something that really impressed me coming out of Cleveland was how well those facets of the game really executed. If you can keep that going in this matchup, continue to build that momentum, put some good film out there for the Packers to make some tough calls.
Yeah, absolutely. You want those roster decisions to be difficult. And also what's at stake here is the Packers' second and third teamers maintaining the control of the game, the control of the line of scrimmage that they had against Cleveland. I thought both the offensive line and the defensive line, those reserve units, really controlled that game in Cleveland. That's why the game was a success for Green Bay. You want to do that again and keep that momentum going through the preseason. It's worth pointing out, Wes, that last week for Who's Heating Up, presented by Aurora Heated Apparel, you chose Evan Williams and I chose Grant Dubose. Those turned out to be two pretty darn good picks for the way that Browns game unfolded. So no pressure here, but who you got?
Well, I don't know if this is too much of a spoiler or surprise, but I'm going to go with Emmanuel Wilson in this game. He was another one of those MVPs against the Browns. And I'm going to do that for two reasons. One, 67 rushing yards on 13 carries and a touchdown. There has been no hotter running back the past 2 years in the preseason than Wilson. But it's also the fact that he is coming back to Denver. This is a place where he started his NFL career. After a 3-day rookie minicamp, he was let go. He ends up in Green Bay, and he's been a real find for the Packers.
Yeah, well, you went offense, so I'm going to go defense. And I'll say last year's first-round pick, Lucas Van Ness. I thought in the Cleveland game, he was a disruptive force up front. He was in the backfield multiple times, whether it be a sack, a TFL, setting up his teammates to make plays. Matt LaFleur talked about how valuable reps are for a guy like Lucas Van Ness, and I think he's going to stack another good game this week. Wes, I say in the preseason sense of things, the Packers win this game if both of their backup quarterbacks play well. Sean Clifford, Michael Pratt are going to handle the entirety of this game. The competition has been getting interesting for that number 2 spot. And if that decision is very difficult on the Packers brass, then the Packers know they have a really good quarterback room, and that would be a win.
That's a great point, Mike. And for me, play with physicality and intentionality. Last week against the Browns, it wasn't that a scheme beat Cleveland. It wasn't that the Packers were dialing up all these creative offensive and defensive plays. It was the fact that, again, those second and third team units, and even the first team with the way they started that game, came out and they dominated. That's what's going to be needed in this matchup, because that's what the Green Bay Packers want to see from these guys. You don't have all the creative envelope at your disposal of these things. It's who steps up, it's who makes their name, and seeing if the Packers can use that to parlay themselves into another victory.
Absolutely. Well, with that, we will sign off on this edition of Final Thoughts. Be sure to follow all of our coverage of Sunday night's game from Denver on Packers.com and on all of your social media channels. Thanks for watching.
All right, there you go. So final thoughts. That trigger any thoughts for you guys as far as the game there?
Yeah, look at Wes Hockowitz. Got the new haircut. Looking like a new man out there, man. Clean cut. Shout out to Wes Hockowitz. Covering the game out there for sure. No, but Emmanuel Wilson, I'm going to echo Wes's comments there. Emmanuel Wilson, that's all eyes on Emmanuel Wilson tonight on the offensive side of the ball. And, of course, Grant Dubose as well.
Definitely. Jacob?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anybody's talked about this, but the altitude, that's supposed to help kickers, right? That's like the one benefit is that you can boot the ball a freaking country mile, but it's a little bit harder for your conditioning and that sort of stuff. Is that correct?
Yep.
Generally speaking, yeah.
Okay.
A little tougher on the guys running around, certainly getting that getting those respirations in up there a mile high.
Yeah. Gotcha. No, I mean, I just I think it'll be a great opportunity to kind of really hone that bottom half of the roster like we talked about. I saw a question by Greg Rice here. He's asking, will we play literally no starters at all tonight? I don't know if we've had that answered yet. We're sitting here combing through Twitter because I personally haven't seen anything that's given any definitive posts as to who's starting and who's not. But as soon as we have that information, I'm sure we'll get it to you ASAP. I would guess it sounds like they really were going to make those actual the practice was the game, and that this is just kind of, I think that this is going to be a real big decider for the guys, like I said, on the bottom half of this roster. Basically, your second team on are fighting for their lives today. That's what I think. And that the third game will be kind of used as maybe a cleanup, where I bet they got maybe 3 or 4 battles that they're trying to make a decision on, where I think this game is they're watching, what would we say, tight end 3, running back 2, running back 3, freaking wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6, right guard 1, Like, there's a lot going on. Cornerback, we haven't even talked about the defense at that point. It's crazy.
Yeah, let's just walk through it position by position real quick and see. All right, obviously at the quarterback position, Sean Clifford, Michael Pratt. That's going to be, hopefully they'll get even snaps. They'll be battling tonight. If you guys would hit like for us, feel free to share the stream, sub to the channel. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us as we're, roughly 40 minutes from kickoff, something like that. So thank y'all for making us part of your pregame festivities here. So, yeah, quarterback position, Sean Clifford, Michael Pratt, obviously there. Running back, you're probably going to see a heavy dose of A.J. Dillon and Emmanuel Wilson. That's kind of the battle there, right? With Marshawn Lloyd being out with the hammy. Josh Jacobs is not going to play. I'm trying to think of who is fifth. Who was the running back we signed just the other day? I mean, he doesn't have a legitimate shot to make the roster, obviously. So I think it's going to be split the carries.
Is that you're talking
about?
about?
Yeah.
So I think you split the carry. Oh, that's the other one. What are we talking about? Jarvion Howard. Remember Jarvion Howard last week?
Yeah, he looked pretty good last week. Is he healthy too, though?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I haven't heard anything otherwise. If we were to pop this up here too,
was hurt this last week though, so he missed practice time. So I don't know if he's going to play.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, Jarvion Howard last week against the Browns, 8 carries for 44 yards. Man, that's pretty solid numbers there.
Right.
Yeah, I would think maybe him and Ellis Merriweather get some carries today in the stretch.
I would love to see Emmanuel Wilson, A.J. Dillon splitting carries, get a heavy dose of both, and let's see if Emmanuel Wilson is truly taking that third running back spot. Obviously, when Marshawn Lloyd is healthy, take that third running back spot from A.J. Dillon. And, I would just as much be excited to see A.J. Dillon come out and actually solidify his spot, So Dave MX6 Garcia says Howard is injured. So when you say injured, Dave, I'm assuming we're thinking there's a legitimate shot he probably won't play, or is it just, hey, he was banged up in practice?
I know for sure he didn't practice much at all, if at all, this last week. Now, if it's me and you, this dude's playing to possibly make a roster or a practice squad. If has any say in the matter, I would hope that he'd want to play. That's what I'll say.
This is the epitome of you can't make the club in the tub. This is what we're talking about.
Right.
This is exactly what Grant DeBose dealt with last year.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is, man. Oh boy, the chat. Omer says AFAM barbecues Pop-Tarts. There you go. Nice little dig there, Omer. Good job, buddy. Loud noises says Broncos using the game to decide the starting quarterback. I don't know why Sean hasn't just named Bo yet. Should be Nix, then Stidham, and then Zach Wilson with 3s, ? I understand why he's doing it. We talked about it pretty extensively on the morning show here, me and Jacob. That's how Sean Payton rolls. He's old school. He's going to make them earn it. Think of what happened with Zach Wilson with the Jets. He just threw him out there. Hey, he's the number 1. Go get it, big guy. And how did that work out? You gotta make them earn it. And listen, that joint practice, there's no two ways about it. Bo looked damn good. So now you give him a shot to take another step today, and then another shot next week. And all right, he's our number 1 quarterback if things go as planned. That's how you build confidence. And that's the thing too. Like, it builds confidence for your team in your coaching staff too. Like, all right, man, they're not handing anything out. We all got to earn it, right? And those offensive linemen, those receivers, even the defense are going to respect Bo Nix even more if he has to earn that starting quarterback job. So that's kind of the way I see it. I think that's the thought process there. Loud noises. Love the emoji too, by the way. But or the profile pic. Sorry. Greg Rice says, Clayton, please let the room keep going so those who can stay in chat. Those who want to can stay in chat. We can do that. I'm probably not going to be. I might be in the chat a little bit. I can kill my mic and everything. We did it once before, didn't we, Jacob? Am I thinking right, Tim? Didn't we do that before?
Yeah, I believe we did that last season.
I think it got off the rails too, and somebody ended up getting banned, didn't they? So we got to be careful with that. What do you guys think? Should we keep the stream going with
Jacob?
I don't want nobody.
Like 3 days away from getting remonetized.
yeah. I don't want nobody listening or possibly seeing what I do while I watch games.
No. You're missing what we're saying.
No, I understand what you're saying. Leaving the chat up. I just don't even want there to be any chance in God's green earth that somehow something happens and clicks my mic or my cam on or something, and then I'm over.
Jacob, you can believe me, I'm going to get you to sign a waiver that you will not be on the stream at all. Okay, you got to leave the stream. All right. we may leave it up, guys. I'll give it some thought here, Greg. Last time it got a little off the rails, if I remember right. So, yeah, I'm getting emotional over here. These chips.
It's my quarterback.
That's my quarterback. All right, wide receiver. The big matchups. Bo Melton, Malik Heath, Grant DeBose. Samori Toure, do we all agree that Samori Toure is pretty much out of the race to make the 53-man roster, or am I being too mean there, too harsh?
I mean, if
Pending
he's
injury.
getting on, it's going to be through special teams, and even that's probably a stretch, right? I mean, I think we're kind of we're over that experiment at this point. At least as a fan base, I think we're all over the Samari Toure thing.
Is it fair to say though that Samari Toure, for how late he was drafted, for how much of a underdog he was, for how much crap was talked about him, he has had a career. He's made money. He's shown that he deserved a spot on this team and that he's filled a role. I think that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think
it's
I
not
think
his fault. Christian Watson and Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks,
Right.
Romeo Dobbs all got drafted. You know,
Right. I think he could go somewhere and be a wide receiver 4 or 5.
I agree. I'm not.
I
don't think he's a bad receiver at all. I don't see a spot for him on this team this year. I just
that makes me feel better because I was like, man, I'm not being too hard on the dude. But I mean, the reality is, Bo Melton, Malik Heath, and Grant DeBose are a notch ahead of Toure right now as it sits, right? So
yeah.
All right, cool. Tight end. Obviously, Joe Wilson is not on this list right here, but you're probably going to see Ben Sims, Tyler Davis, and Joe Wilson show tonight. I'm excited to see more of Joe Wilson, although I don't know if there's a chance that he leapfrogs Tyler Davis and or Ben Sims, but it might be something they've seen enough of Joe already in practice and in the preseason that they'll limit his snaps so no one else tries to snatch him up so they can put him on the practice squad. Because I feel like right now, if they do carry 4, it's going to be those 4 right there: Musgrave, Kraft, Sims, and Davis. But there's a good chance they'll carry 3 and try to stash Ben Sims back on the practice squad and keep Tyler Davis because of special teams on the active roster. But we'll see how that unfolds. How do you guys see that playing out? Do you think Joe Davis has a shot to make the 53, or do you think he's definitely practice squad material?
You said Joe Davis. You mean Tyler or Joe Wilson?
Joe Wilson. I'm sorry.
I think that this is one of those. I'll give you the Matt LaFleur. We'll see. We'll see how he does in this game. And if he does show out again, because obviously we're not going to see Musgrave. We're not going to see Mr. Tucker, Lung Dart Kraft. And I would argue we're probably not going to see much of Sims and Davis, because if they really do see one of those two as the number 3, I think they're going to want to really see a lot of Wilson. And I'm sure they've got at least one other tight end that's on the roster right now that they're working out. I liked what I saw originally. I think he was 3 for 3 for like 30 yards. It seemed like he understood what they were asking him to do conceptually. Granted that, this was a very vanilla. I mean, I'm sure that they're typing up day one type plays and that kind of protections and all that sort of stuff. So it'd be cool to see not only if they give him a lot more playing time, but if they have him do, Clay, maybe you keep your eye open for this. Are they asking him to just run a post route, or are they asking him to like chip block and actually do protections and actually do like certain things that that Matt LaFleur requires a tight end, a starting tight end for that matter, even somebody that's in a rotation? Is that what they're asking him to do? But who knows?
Yeah, I personally think I see those tight ends, like I said before, Luke Musgrave can flex. That's his superpower. His strength is to be able to flex out wide, whether it's along the boundary or throwing him in the slot, just do a simple wide flex. These other guys, including Tucker Kraft, they're more of those attached tight ends. Now, listen, Musgrave, it's not that he's great at playing attached, but he has to play attached because that's what LaFleur's offense calls for the large majority of the time. When I mean attached to the offensive line and not flexed out as a wide receiver, because you're trying to take advantage of those mismatches when you get him out there wide, like we've seen on the Dontavian Wicks touchdown pass. Now, I say that because I feel like Joe Wilson fits right into what Matt LaFleur wants. He can play a little bit of that wing look where he's sifting. He can also play attached, but I don't expect him to be flexed out. The only one of the group I expect to be flexed out is Musgrave. Tucker can do it, and he did it from time to time last year because he had to, because they didn't want to scrap that portion of their playbook when Luke Musgrave had internal bleeding, right? So, like, you want to kind of keep that. And we all know Tucker Kraft's RAS was through the roof, right? So, hopefully open question. I think he's more of an attached, more of a sift type tight end. Go ahead, Jake.
I don't know why we didn't ever make the Musgrave meme with Dave Chappelle as Rick James. Where it said, now, if you excuse me, I think I'm bleeding inside of my chest.
That would have been good. At the time, though, Jacob, it was serious, sir. Be
that's
my
true.
luck, we do that, and then it's career ending. And
He died.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you're not allowed in the chat if we keep the stream up right there.
Thanks.
What do you think, Tim, as far as the tight ends go? I don't know if you answered that question or not, man. We got off the rails there.
I think if there's a bubble guy, it's Ben Sims. I think, you know, if we're looking for someone to be that last tight end, it's probably going to be Ben Sims. Although I do think Joel Wilson is someone to keep an eye on. We haven't seen much of what's the other guy's name? Swinson.
Messiah Swinson, I believe.
Yeah, Messiah Swinson.
And he was a rookie too. And I didn't even realize that we signed him because if you guys remember, we didn't do a deep dive on him or anything like that, but we brought him up as one of our late round people. And we looked at his numbers and his measurables, and we thought, you know, he's nothing quite special, but he did have certain aspects of his game that I remember we were like, yeah, you know, I could see him basically, being a UDFA walk-on type kind of guy. And I think
that's a big dude, man. 6'7", 260.
Right.
Big guy.
Remember, because we profiled him, we're like, this would be one of our Mercedes Lewis type replacements, a guy that just is big trenched guy that you're not going to ask him to do much other than.
See, I feel like Tyler Davis is that dude for us this year. I feel like that's the role he's going to fit, you know, going into the season. But as far as tonight, I don't know who we're going to see get the most action out there.
I think it'll be Wilson. I think it has to be.
Yeah, it would have to be. Prince in the chat says we need a backup punt returner. Maybe Tim has seen who else is in the mix there. The way I see the punt return position is Keyshawn Nixon, Jaden Reed. Now, Jaden Reed might surpass Keyshawn as punt returner because he seems to be a little more comfortable than – now, another one that's gotten mentioned before was Ballantyne way back in the day, but that's really faded out. Tim, while you were at camp, did you happen to notice – and I know there's 1,000 things going on during the practice. They're limited on their time. Did you notice who kind of was returning punts for the Packers?
Yeah. You're spot on there. It was Keyshawn. It was Jaden Reed and our guy, your guy, Samare Toure, who we were just talking about, did the bulk of the work. I didn't see, you said Ballantyne, was it that they were?
Way back in the day, like a couple years ago, I remember they were trying that.
I want to say, don't quote me on this, but maybe Robert Rochelle. I want to see if there was anyone in the secondary I saw back there. I want to say it was number 22.
They had Lloyd taking a few randomly too, I saw.
Yeah.
Early
so
on.
That's a great point by Prince that they are looking at, you know, another option, obviously behind Keyshawn and Jaden Reed, which are two excellent options, of course. But beyond that, I don't know.
What do you guys think? Because when I heard, I don't want Jaden Reed taking kicks. I don't want Jaden Reed returning punts. I really don't.
Yeah. Definitely.
I'd rather have, honestly, hey, Nixon, jump on that grenade, buddy. There you go.
I would agree. No, I would agree, not just for, you know, Jacob's demented, twisted reasons why he wants to agree, but no, I would agree in the sense that it is your best foot forward. I've always said this about Keyshawn. He's the most dynamic with the ball in his hands. It's not, you know, he's like Clayton says, a great number 2 slot guy. He's a great backup depth slot corner. I don't see him as a starting slot guy, even though we watched that happen for 16 games last year. So, but I believe his strength is in the return game and in the open field with the ball in his hand and a lead blocker or not, he's going to make something happen. So I do. I like Keyshawn back there, but I'm with Jacob, man. I don't want Jaden Reed returning punts at all.
That's what Prince just said.
Yeah.
Says me neither. Get Reed out of there.
And I think we've got, you know, dynamic playmakers in that secondary group and in the running back room as well. So I don't think there's a need to dip into the wide receiver room and get guys banged up returning punts for sure. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. All right. So last week, Samori Toure returned both punts. And that to me kind of felt like, hey, look, here's your last shot to make the roster. Show us something. Show us you got some value there type thing.
That's what I was saying, like kind of a long shot. If he makes this team, it might be as your second
Back
stringer punt returner kind of guy.
Yeah, if they do agree that we don't want to see Jaden Rebecker returning punts. I'm sure Jacob was going right here because of Randy Cleavers said, I would like to see King on returns. Kalen King kind of has that fearlessness to him, the way he plays the game. I could see, and listen, it goes overlooked all the time. Anyone who's ever played football, you understand it. I don't care what level you're playing at. It takes a different kind of cat to stare straight up in the air knowing that 11 guys are full sprint coming to knock your head off.
Yep.
And Kalen King kind of, to me, fits that mold a little bit, right?
I agree.
So I'm sure that's what you were making that noise for, right, Jacob?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty
Got
much.
it. All right, let's
He's
go
got
wrap
that
it.
high FBI as well. A lot of the punt return game is knowing where you are on that football field, so you don't have to look down and cheat. You know where you are if you're going to let that ball, hit the turf and bounce into the end zone, or are you going to return it? A lot of that has to do with your football intelligence, not just your return ability.
Yeah, what they call spatial awareness, right?
Yep.
It's absolutely huge. Let's see here. Omer in the chat said Torrey and Heath start on most teams, just shows how deep that room is. Heath, I think, could be a number 3 receiver, not necessarily a slot receiver, right? But a number 3 receiver. I see Torrey more as that number 4.
Yep.
So starting a little bit of a stretch for me, Omer, as far as Torrey goes, but Heath, I could see it in 11 personnel. I really could. He's got strong hands. He's one of those guys that has some spatial awareness too. We've seen him last year make some catches in traffic. So Ron
He's good
Sandler,
yak too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Like when he got the ball in his hands, he reminded me of Donald Driver a lot. He was just very long, gazelle-like strides where he'll just randomly make a plant cut too and just cut it.
Yeah. I'll
was-
tell you what else he does too.
He can
He can block.
Exactly right. Ron Samble in the chat says Torrey hasn't really cost himself a spot. He just ran into a juggernaut of receivers. I think that's a very, very accurate way to say that, Ron. It's not like he's done anything where you go, man, he's bad. It's just these other dudes are just balling out.
But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Fred McFarley says Bo Melton 4.3440, Watson 4.3640, Reed 4.4540. That's what the Packers had him at. Dobbs 4.5240, Dubose 4.5740, Wicks 4.6240, and Heath 4.6440. So there's your 40 times. People are still amazed that, like Dick says here, didn't know Melton was faster than Watson. Again, doesn't mean, and I love how you put it in parentheses because football speed is a real thing. But yeah, he ran a better 40 time than Watson. The only thing is Watson with that huge frame. I mean, what is he, 6'4"? He's just a freak of nature that he can move the way he does. Nova in the chat says Vikings get Stephon Gilmore. Wow, yeah, we were having some fun with that this morning, just talking about how a rookie Dontavion Wicks just absolutely cooked him last year. And then other people pointed out on Twitter to me, hey Clayton, don't forget about when Romeo Dobbs broke his ankles there on that cross country route, or cross corner, I should say. I always call it cross country, but cross corner route. Let's see here. Blake B says maybe Emmanuel Wilson shows enough on kick returns to give another reason for him on the 53. You have to have 2 returners back there, and it's a great point. We talked about it early on, guys, that when you go to these new kick return rules, running backs might dominate that across the league. And you see Emmanuel Wilson had that 1 kick return last week for 28 yards. So that could be the case too. If he shows that he can be a legitimate kick returner alongside Keyshawn Nixon, then you don't have to have Jaden Reed back there, right? I think we would all agree here, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I would feel a lot better about Emmanuel Wilson returning kicks than Jaden Reed, right? So,
yes. And I think with the new rules on the kickoff, there's a further discrepancy now between the punt return game and the kick return game. They are kind of different monsters now when it comes down to it. So I would think protecting your number ones there is vital on both sides of the ball when it comes to kicks versus punts.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right. As far as the defensive side of the ball last week, I think we covered receiving pretty well there. The defensive side of the ball, you had Evan Williams with leading the team with tackles. Christian Welch with 6 total tackles as well. Raylan Goforth with 6 tackles. Isaiah McDuffie with 4. Lucas Van Ness just had a game. We talked about it, like a 30% win rate, right, last week, rushing the passer. He had 3 tackles, 1 sack, and 3 tackles for a loss. He was just everywhere all over the field.
How about these hands?
Says Zane Anderson with 3 tackles. Kobe Wooden had a sack and a tackle for a loss as well. Just kind of combing through here. Javon Bullard with 3 tackles. Let's see who else. Someone else had a sack there. Who was it? How do you say this cat's name here? Spencer.
I've heard Waggy.
I don't know if that's right or not, Jake.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I heard that. People are saying it's.
That's what people tell me.
You know, if he makes this
Wow.
football team, we're gonna have to learn his name.
True international average of pressure.
All right, we've reached that point where the show sucks. Okay, so unfortunately we got 470 people in here watching it suck, but we appreciate y'all hanging out with us. There's Coach Lynn says Lloyd is out, so I'm going to comb through Twitter. You guys talk amongst yourselves. Find one topic to hit on while I try to get us some information.
Tim, what are you thinking as far as what you want to see out of the kicking battle tonight? Do you just want to see them go every other and just because I don't know what to think anymore. At first, I started out and I thought we had two really high quality
I think
kickers.
Anders
Now-
Carlson is your kicker. Just keep thinking those thoughts. He will
That's
be the
just
kicker.
what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't see it as a battle. I think that the competition was brought there to bring the best out of Anders. And I think this far through camp, he's definitely ahead of where he was last year. He's already kicking the ball better. He's already made corrections to his approach. But to answer your question, I would like to see another 50-50 split here. I do. I would like to see Mr. Joseph taking some kicks. I'd like to see Anders as well.
Oof.
What do we got here, Clay?
It's just I'm just going to put that on the background. That was the guys out there warming up earlier. I apologize for the noise. I tried to get it quick, but I'm getting old, fellas. I'm getting slow
Nice.
over here. You guys keep going. I'm coming through here.
Jacob, I'm a bad guy to ask about the kicking battle because I'm behind Anders. I'm convinced he's our kicker. So I don't know. What would you like to see? What do you think today?
Well, and I guess honestly, every time I ask that question, I think me and you are in the same boat. I don't think that we're going to spend the draft capital that we did. I don't think we're going to sit through the sacrifice of the season that we did. I don't think we're going to hire guys like Rich Bisaccia, who has personal connections to that family, specifically an older brother that literally went through the same exact transformation of his career, had a rough, shaky start with the first team. Team decided they were going to get rid of him, threw him basically to the wolves where Rich Bisaccia fished him out of the river, nursed him back to health, raised him as a wolf himself, and taught him how to kick footballs. And that's basically what is happening here. 2.0, Bisaccia and Mr. Anders Carlson. So I think that, it's just more of a formality because I think that last year, Matt LaFleur, if anything, he got so much heat because they're like, dude, you had a rookie kicker that had no competition. You just were cool mailing that in. I think this year he's gone above and beyond to make sure that there is at least one camp kicker body in there, if not two or multiple. So
I think that's so true. I think the one thing we knew last year was that the Packers were ready to move on from Mason. We made that tough decision to kind of just let Mason test the market, and he had a few tryouts, a couple places, or a few workouts, and it just he ultimately didn't end up playing anymore.
I thought he actually went to the Giants or something for
That was brief, right? Didn't he kick
3
a couple
weeks and then
games?
he did not do very well. So.
Right. So that was what we knew, and we knew we had Anders, right? So I think we were invested. Like you said, Jacob, we put a lot more than just a draft pick into him. So I think he's going to be the kicker one again this year. So
I don't know where they got that information from with the inactive there with Lloyd. I'm not seeing anything anywhere. So obviously we're getting close to kickoff. We are kicking off here in 16 minutes. Is that right, fellas?
Yeah, it should be.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and get ready to wrap this up. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. If you would take a quick second, hit that like button for us. Feel free to sub to the channel. We're going to be doing this all year long. Pre-game shows, post-game shows, all that good stuff. So we appreciate y'all hanging out with us for sure. Parting thoughts, I guess, guys. We'll go ahead and give us time to run to the restroom, grab some food, and get ready to watch the game. Parting thoughts here. How we feeling? What are you thinking as far as what would be a success tonight? Because for me, I'll go first. A success for me is 0 injuries, first and foremost, right? And I would love to see Javon Bullard and Evan Williams ball out. Now, if Bullard doesn't play tonight, I think it tells you there's your starting safety, right? So there you go. Ron Sample says, what time is the post-game show, Clayton? We normally wait until the game's over. Tonight, we may, in the last few minutes of the fourth quarter, because you know how preseason games kind of wrap up, we may just go ahead and jump in then. So I don't know where you guys are located, but the game's going to kick off 7 Central, right? I would say 9 Central-ish, something like that. I'll put the post up. You'll see it. So, yeah. Go ahead.
I agree with that, Clayton, that, preseason games, the way these coaches get together, the officials get together, they try to have a momentum to these games. They don't want these games to drag on. We saw a lot of no calls last week. I'm sure we'll see a lot of, no calls this week, and keep the clock running. This is about learning and growing. That's what preseason's all about. So I'm going to echo Clayton's sentiment tonight. I want to see injury-free football, and want to see Michael Pratt a little more, Sean Clifford a little more, and of course Grant DeBose. And then on defense, I'm looking forward to these young studs in the secondary getting some playing time today. So keep your eyes peeled for this defense.
There you go, Jacob. You got the floor, sir.
Yeah, it's certain positional battles. Obviously, keep healthy, all that kind of stuff. But I really want to see where we maybe aren't focusing on certain position battles and maybe the third string linebackers. Guys, I was surprised when we saw that Christian Welch, Raylan Goforth had a lot of snaps. Guys that we're not maybe thinking about could sneak their way onto this roster. Maybe certain D-backs, certain linebackers, obviously the offensive line. I want to see how they hold up. But just in general, it sounds like we have no starters going against possibly their starters, at least for a little while. So if we can absorb that initial shock and awe kind of thing, I just want to see us hopefully be able to get into a little bit of a rhythm and see what we can do, and then evaluate it. And I just want to have fun. I hope both sides just have fun. That's what I hope.
How dare you?
Unbelievable, man.
Who cares if we win or lose?
Listen, these
Honestly.
guys, these guys are playing, for roster spots. I would love to see the second team go out there and just smack the Broncos right in the damn mouth. That's what I'd like to see. That first team, if they roll the starters out there, give Bo Nix fits and just, dominate the whole night. Now, am I putting money on the game? No. Absolutely not. So, all right, we appreciate everybody hanging out with us. This was a blast. We should have roughly, 12, 15 minutes, something like that, before the game kicks off. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. I'm going to go ahead and create the link as soon as we get off here. You'll see that get tweeted out. I'll pin it to my Twitter account as well. That way you guys know where to find it. If you're following us on YouTube, you're subscribed or whatever, you will see that live link pop up here real soon. I don't know, boys. I think we're going to shut this down, okay? We're going to shut it down instead of leaving it going. I'm sorry, Greg Rice, but you guys, we may do it during the season, okay? You caught me off guard. Let me get a little bit of.
Yo, now you got Greg asking, please, Clayton, please.
All right, we'll leave it up. Hell with it. All right, we're doing it. Tim gave you the buzzer, and I said, all right, let's do it. So Tim's a responsible uncle, and I'm the one that's sneaking you beer at 10 years old. That's what it is. All right, so we'll keep it up. Guys, Tim, Jacob, please make sure you leave, okay?
Oh, I'm not the problem here.
That's a good point.
This guy right here.
I'm going to make Greg a mod so he can kick Jacob out if he goes off the rails during the game. So Megan wins again. All right. It's
like we're
so much.
It's like we have 458 10-year-olds here tonight. Yay, we can stay up past 10.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, guys, we'll keep the stream up. Appreciate y'all hanging out. We'll see you after the game. All right, it'll be a separate stream for the post-game show. Just know that, okay? But appreciate y'all. Take care. Jacob, you better leave, sir. Leave.
I'm leaving.
Hey, for anyone who can hear me right now, let me say this. Jacob sucks. No, I'm just kidding. Ryan Slip is definitely doing a live watch along last I heard. So you might want to check on his channel, Packernet's channel. I'll keep this up too, so you guys can hang out and chat in here. But if he's live, I would recommend you hop over there and hang out in there. It's a really cool atmosphere there too. So appreciate y'all. Talk to you soon.
we go.